YouTube, what's going on, and welcome to the 10th episode of my Futhead's Hybrid series. In today's episode, we are going to be doing what we always do on this series, going through 4 hybrids that I made on Futhead. One of them is going to be under 15k, another under 50k, another under 150k, and one final one over 200k. One has to be created by another user, which the first one is one has to be no links wasted, and one has to include an informed player from this week's Team of the Week. So we start off with this squad, which was a 4 leagues, 5 nations, 25k Korea, no links wasted, featuring Reed by LVIV, and I did switch a little bit of things, like the central midfielder and the CDM from Napoli that get the perfect link to make it under 15k, because I really did like this squad. The left winger is Nicholas Gaitan, and the right winger is Iturbe. They're both very solid players. Gaitan with a bit better dribbling and shooting and also passing, while Iturbe does have a bit better pace, and also he has a bit better weak foot. They both have 4-star skill moves, and they're both very solid. Correa is your striker with 4-star skills, 4-star weak foot, 86 dribbling, 83 pace. I might put in Vieto, but since this squad was built around Correa, I didn't want to change too much, so I kept him in there. The midfield's pretty solid with Enzo Perez, Gabbiadini, and Valder Formi. Perez has a very solid card with every stat above 72, while Gabbiadini has a very solid attacking card with every stat above 72, but defending, so that's very solid. Neither one of them does have 4-star skill moves, though, which might be a problem in the midfield, as only your attack has 4-star skills. Valdeformi is going to be your CDM, and he has a pretty solid card, only 69 defending, but he does have 81 passing, and he does have 74 physical. He is 6 foot tall as well, so that's relatively tall, so pretty solid. Your fullbacks are Gaia and Darmian. Gaia has a bit better attacking stats than Darmian, with better pace, better dribbling, and better passing, but Darmian is a bit better defensively and also is stronger, so kind of justifies his 1 rating higher. Ogbonna and Reed, the West Ham teammates, are going to be your center back pairings, and they're both very solid, as Reed has 73 pace, 80 defending, and 79 physical. Ogbonna has 73 pace as well, 83 defending, and 80 physical. Begovic in goal is very solid, and the squad just looks really solid overall. Besides the midfield not being the best, this really is a very solid hybrid. The next squad we are going to be looking at is the under 50k team of today's episode, and that squad is going to be Jackson Martinez and Vieto. You could definitely use Correa, but I felt like 2 squads with him in 1 episode would not be good. They're a very solid strike force pairing, as both of them have 4-star skill moves, the Atletico Madrid teammates. Both have around 80 pace, with Martinez at 1 over with 81 and Vieto 1 under with 79. Vieto has much better dribbling, though, at 85 compared to 79. The shooting is about similar too, as is the passing, with Vieto having 5 better passing and 3 less shooting. Martinez does crush Vieto in physical, though, representing his +5 overall with 85 physical compared to 64 for Vieto. Your wingers are going to be Ivan Perisic and Kendreva. Perisic does have a very solid card with +79 on every attacking stat, and then Kendreva has over 81 on every single attacking stat. In my opinion, the attacking stats are every stat besides defending and physical. You could add on physical there, as it does matter for attackers, but I think it's a bit more important for central midfielders and also center backs. Your fullbacks are going to look, or actually not your fullbacks, we're going into our central midfielders, and those are going to be Freddie Guarin, who has every stat above 79, but defending, which is still at 70, and Biglia, who has a really bad card for an 82 rating, kind of justifies his non-rare status, as his highest stat on his card is 79, and only has 4 stats above 70, so not a very solid card for an 82 rated player. Alexandro and Darmian are your fullbacks. Darmian, we saw in a squad last episode, and then Alexandro is very solid right here. Actually, he was in the first squad of this episode, but Alexandro is your other fullback with 85 pace, 81 dribbling, and 80 defending, 75 passing, and 75 physical, so a very solid player. Gabriel and Koscielny, the Arsenal teammates, is your backline, as Koscielny is one of the best center backs in the Barclays Premier League, but Gabriel is also very solid. Neither one of them are the tallest at 6'1", but it should get the job done, as they're both very fast. Begovic in goal, just like the last episode, so this is looking, or not the last episode, the last squad, this is looking very similar to the last squad, but a bit better strike force. Okay, so we are back with the under 150k squad of this episode. My computer just lagged out and no pages would load, so we have to come back here, and The squad we built in this episode, or this squad, is going to be Martial and Welbeck up front, so 2 Barclays Premier League strikers. They're 2 very solid strikers with both 85 pace and very similar shooting with 74 compared to 76. Very similar dribbling with 80 for both of them. Welbeck is a bit stronger, and that does show why he is 2 ratings higher. Your 2 cams are 2 Germans from the Barclays Premier League in Bastian Schweinsteiger and Mesut Ozil. Ozil has a very solid card with 86 dribbling and 85 passing, as he's been fantastic for Arsenal this year, while Schweinsteiger has a very solid card with over 76 on every step-up pace. The 2 central defensive midfielders are Castro and Gundogan. Castro is the 1 in-form player from this week's Team of the Week in this episode, and they're both very solid cards. The lowest stat for either of them is the lowest stat for Castro is 75, and the lowest stat for Gundogan is 71 besides defending. They're 2 pretty solid central defensive midfielders, more attacking. Gundogan with 4-star skills compared to Castro's 3. The fullbacks are Alexandro and Aurier. Alexandro, this is the second time we have used him in this episode. He was in the under 50k squad, and Serge Aurier does have 85 pace, 77 dribbling, 78 defending, and 81 physical, so a very solid card for him. Marquinhos and Miranda is your center back pairing, as they are both very solid center backs, as they both have over 73 pace, over 84 defending, and over 76 physical. Julio Cesar in goal is very solid, as we used him in the last episode. And this team is overall very solid. Maybe not the best defensive midfielders. Maybe you could switch Schweinsteiger and Castro or Gundogan in-game. So that might be the best thing that you can do, but this squad looks pretty solid. Maybe lacks a little bit of pace, but that would be my only concern. The over 200k squad of this episode is going to be Ntep and Alessandrini are going to be your wingers. 2 Frenchmen playing in the league that are very fast with 91 pace for each of them. Solid dribblers at 79 and 83 respectively. Not great shooters or passers with 77 and 76 for shooting, and 74 and 71 for passing. Ben Arfa is your center forward, and he looks fantastic as a center forward. 5-star skills, 3-star weak foot, 79 pace, 88 dribbling, 80 passing, and 82 shooting is a very solid. Fernandinho, Fernando, and Pogba is your midfield. Pogba is very solid as his lowest stat is 74. Fernandinho and Fernando gets that perfect link, as Fernandinho's lowest stat is 74, and Fernando, it has every stat above 60, and above 80 for defending and physical. Your fullbacks are Gael Clichy and Steven Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner has a very solid card once again this year in FIFA Ultimate Team with 83 pace, 75 dribbling, 80 defending, 79 physical, and 72 passing, while Gael Clichy does have 84 pace, 74 dribbling, 80 defending, but only 68 physical. Might be a bit of a problem. Mangala and Klose are your 2 center backs. Mangala has a very solid card with 77 pace, 79 defending, and 85 physical. Klose is much slower and a much worse card overall with less pace, less dribbling, 1 better shooting, 2 better passing, the same defending, and 9 less physical. He's a decent card, but he is just here for chemistry reasons. And then Benaglio in goal is your goalkeeper, as he is a pretty solid goalkeeper on this game. You could switch Klose and Benaglio and put in guys like Martin Caceres and also Buffon, but it would lose like a league and also it would gain a nation, but I just don't think it's as creative with only 3 leagues. And that's the squad and the final squad for today's episode, and that will wrap it up for this episode of my Futhead Hybrid series. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more Futhead Hybrids and other FIFA content.